All right, shalom to elect Israel, to the hopeful elect Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negro, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreign Israelites to the like the other nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. Want to give all praise to Barak, Barak was shy. Barak, Barak was shy. Got to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Name of the Heavenly Father, who everybody ignorantly calls God. His true name in the ancient Hebrew, which is in the Rawchaa, Qadash. His true name is Yahawah, Bahasham. Means in the name of Yahawashi, the Holy One of Israel. Everybody ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, so-called Negro from the tribe of Judah, who was slain at the foundations of the earth for the salvation of the elect of Israel. Then you got 2/3 of the wicked Israelites here in America, Babylon the Great, and the other wicked Israelites scattered across the four corners of the earth that'll come back to the loins of the elect after the destruction. The Rawchaa HaKodash is the Holy Spirit that has been bestowed upon the men. The Heavenly Father gave his only begotten Son out of the world to complete this work. So we always want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, let us all to this truth. Been ordained by the Lord to teach the flock how to live, repent, pray fast, show forth the Lord's righteousness and mercy, judgment, forgiveness, and wrath to all those who are part of the elect, to the hopeful elect. Lord, when we part of that number, Lord, when this be at the front of us, we fear in the name of the Lord, striving to show forth the Lord's righteousness every day to the best of their abilities. His judgment always comes to light. Zephaniah 3:5, it is not slack. 2 Peter 3:9 is unto a ring. 2 Ezra chapter 5, verse 42. Shalom, all you sincere believers out there tuning in here on after Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash, Barak, Atham. We're going to get into some various end-time topics, as usual. And we're going to start right here, going into the title. Real knowledge is to know the extent of the Lord's habitation. And it speaks of we prophesy in part and know in part. So, we only know, we know the full extent of that justice and judgment that we need to know. But there's things that we're not going to know until we get to the kingdom. But we can see the extent on the earth by how he controls the kings of the earth and things around us. So we're going to start right there and kind of go into what he's starting to do to show that he's in control of everything. And he's also using, he's using Esau to also explain what's really going on. Because a lot of people, they don't understand the extent of justice and judgment, and they don't think that, most of the church, the churches, the ones that's, not in the truth, the Christians, the Antichrist that's in the churches, they think that basically Satan just do whatever he want. And that's not true. Everything comes from the Most High. All the angels do the Lord's bidding. Okay, so that's what we're going to go into. And, the Edomites are starting to show that they know that, but they just don't know how to explain it because it's not their jobs to read the scriptures. So, Tucker Carlson just had a whole, conversation about this topic. So we're going to start there and we're going to show you that the Lord controls the angels and on both sides. But where are we going to start here? Right here in Psalms 89, 14. So Lord, when this edifying to the flock. Get to it. So Psalms 89, 14, justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face, right? So to learn the extent of justice and judgment, you can look at what's going on in the earth, man. So we're going to look at this word habitation. Basically, everything around you that happens to you was authorized by Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Everything. My home. That's how you say that. Be probably the Assyrian Hebrew. Properly a fixture, a basis, generally a place, especially in a bold foundation. See, it says fixed place. It's fixed. So there's no such thing as free will. It's fixed. Okay. Just like when they talk about sports, they be like, oh, that game was fixed. Yeah, like that's how the Most High is. That's his extent of his habitation. It's fixed. It's a fixed game. Okay. So while the Lord has got people like IUIC making damn country music, and I went Elder Manatazakba had a little video on it. They're out there making country music and whatnot. That's the Lord making them do that. Because that's not edifying to the elect. That's not doing nothing for none of Israel. That's not helping Israel at all. And their music whack as shit. But over here in GMS, we're going to tell you about America Babylon the Great being destroyed and these kingdoms falling and calamities coming, man. We're not going to make no damn country song for your ass. We're going to sing you the song of Moses, the one that's supposed to get you out of here. Okay? It's supposed to be a warning. So going into this is what Tucker Carlson said. It's going to show you how the Lord uses angels to get everybody on the earth. When you're saying something, the Lord sent an angel to make you say that shit. Okay? Well, that's why we know that the Lord's dealing with us. As of now, Lord willing, he continues to deal with us. He's sending angels for us to be serious about this work. So Tucker Carlson, supernatural beings and forces secretly control the U.S. government, and it's secretly to them. But there is no private interpretation of the scriptures. Let's point that out. Let's put that up. It's not no private interpretation of the scriptures. It's plainly showed to you what it's saying, but you have to have teachers to show you. Because what's plain to the righteous, the wicked will never understand. And we've been taught wicked ways here. Okay? So we got taught everything we needed to know. So you read in 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 20, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the scripture is of any private interpretation. So any prophecy that we're giving you is not no just secret interpretation. Like the interpretation is being given to you. It's being given to you so you can know what's going on. So he's right about this, but he just doesn't know how to explain it because ultimately he doesn't believe in Yahawashi. Now we know that Tucker Carlson actually had a conversation one-on-one when Apostle Hall was at camp back in the day. So he's gotten a warning too. So, and Apostle Dahar was respectful. He said, if you are Edomite, you're going into slavery. He didn't just call him an Edomite because we know that Jake looks like all nations. So, you just never know till then. But like we say, sometimes you can tell through the spirit, just like we can tell other things through the spirit because the spirit's dealing with us. That's why we're able to give you the interpretation of the prophecy. See, it's about prophecy. There's so many people that go to church and they don't have nothing to do with prophecy. They just talk about their own little whatever they got going on in their life, and they think that has to do with prophecy. It has nothing to do with prophecy. It's got to be as a whole. Everybody that's dealing with a whole. Shalom, shalom, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash, Barak. Shalom, shalom. Kazakban Yahawah, shalom. So going over here, this is what Tucker Carlson said, and we're gonna go into some precepts on it. Kazakban, he be going in, so we're gonna pull something he gonna throw down too, Lord willing. Oh, Con. Let me see. The water. I'm gonna play it back. No sound. I think I know what it is. Give me a sec. Talaki, I know what it is. The water. Let me run this back. It should be. I remember I clicked on it. Let me just check. Let me go at it one more time. All right. I'm gonna play it one more time. The water. It'd be one time I did a whole lesson and I had to go redo it because of that sound stuff. So the water. So I'm gonna get back, see if I can play it. It's only like a minute clip. Let me get me off the screen a little bit more. Where my mouse at? All this talk about making a digital world system, they can't even have a doggone. Sheesh. God, dog. All right. So we're gonna go in this one more time. Let me know if you can hear it. Baba Kasha, the water.
The main thing they want you to believe is the supernatural is not real. Their main interest is in convincing you that the supernatural is not real. Why has that been so important for 80 years? For you to convince me the supernatural is not real. Why do you care if I think the supernatural is real? And then you have to ask motive. Like, it's not a profit motive. Like, does it make them rich to deny that there's supernatural forces? No. What is that? And I don't know the answer, but the obvious answer is, well, because they sort of know they're working for supernatural forces, actually. But that they take physical form, that they're not just like some ethereal, they're not just shadows floating around, specters, fog, that they're physical. Like, they're as real as the arm of your chair. People are subject to the supernatural, so they do things that are not natural, like kill themselves. That's why we're the only species that kills itself, right? So when you kill yourself, whether slowly or all at once, you're being acted on by forces outside of you, spiritual forces, obviously.
See, he's got Esau even like being able to, the spirit is pouring out on all flesh, man. And they're starting to bring this stuff out too. Because they've all this time they've tried to make it seem like there's no spirit world, there's no principalities and power that's set up behind what you do, man. It's fixed. You can't just do whatever you want to do. Everything you do is orchestrated by Yahawashi, and the angels do his bidding, man. So Romans chapter 13, when you go into that. Romans chapter 13. Yep, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing because they know, they know, man. They know that it's too late to be acting like we don't know what we're talking about, man. We telling you the Lord's controlling everything. Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Because this whole time Esau Edom has been acting like there's no spirit world. There's no supernatural forces working through people to make them do things that are not natural. That's the Lord sending evil spirits on certain people and delusions to make them do stuff, man. That's the Lord doing that to make sure that the prophecy has no private interpretation, man. We told you that the Lord's going to send certain angels, demons, and things on people that's not subject to his will, man. We've been telling you, and really, we talking about for Israelites. We're supposed to actually be righteous. So, when we get sent those wicked angels on us, that's because he wants us to fight the good fight of faith, and also because that's how he did for Job. He's going to test you with evil angels. Okay, that's what's going to prove that you're righteous. But with the wicked, they're supposed to be wicked, man. They're supposed to be wicked. They're not going to be righteous at all. They're supposed to be wicked. So they're doing the will of the Lord too. Second Esdras chapter 6, verse 27, for evil shall be put out and deceit shall be quenched. Verse 28, as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. That's why, for a while, the apostles didn't really see nobody out here believing in the truth and doing the work. But now the mass awakening is beginning. We're to the point where the Lord is setting up all the camps. Everybody's getting established. Everything's. Then he's got to do a sifting of the camps. That's what he's doing. He's sifting through all of us to make sure that we're on point. So when he wakes all the other Israelites up, we stay on. We keep our integrity, man. And we teach them the right way. So that's what he's doing right now. He's working on his men to make sure that we come correct whenever all these people start waking up, man. Because they're about to start waking up. It's not going to be like, it's not going to be a small awakening, man. It's going to be huge. So right here, Romans 13:1, be subject to the government. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of the Most High. See, he controls everything. Left-hand side of the Lord and the right-hand side of the Lord, the wicked and the righteous. The powers that are ordained of the Most High. See, that's his judgment and his judgment. It is justice and his judgment. Those are the extents on both sides. What does he got this stuff set up for? Verse 2, whosoever therefore resisteth the power. That's why the apostles tell you, hey, cops come around, tell you, give me your ID. Don't give them no hard time. Just give it to them. They tell you, put your hands behind your head, but do it. Agree with thy adversary quickly, because the Lord set these powers up. What does he set them up for? Right? Who resisteth with power resists the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. So if you are being a nuisance to basically any system that the Lord set up, you're going to get destroyed. Okay. And now we're not telling you to take the MOTB because he told us not to take that. Okay. We're saying that if you got to comply with what go down. It says some of us will get taken to the synagogues and to the judge's seat. We got to allow them to do that for that prophecy to pass, man. Some of us are going to have to come up there and get put to death. That's a prophecy. You have to be able to be willing to die for the Lord in this thing, man, especially us as teachers, because we're the ones at the front line. Everybody else is being quiet, watching videos, and they don't even get it. When you pull up one of these videos and you watch this, you're getting watched too. You're being watched. When you watch our stuff on a constant basis, you're being put in a category where we're at. But who you think they're coming at? They're coming at us because we're really serving the Lord, man. They're trying to find out who the Lord's dealing with, man. So going into it, for rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. So that's why we have this wicked ass Babylon the Great empire over us, because we put our hands towards iniquity. We sinned against the Lord. So that's why it was set up. So don't act like oh, poor me. Live out your punishment and do what you got to do to make sure you stay out of their way and take care of your family, man. And who is your family? Those who do the will of Yahawashi, man. You make sure you look out for them. We got immediate families that we care about, but they ain't family until they wake up, man. If they don't wake up in the mass awakening, they're not going to be considered as family in Jacob's trouble. And you got to have that mindset, or you're going to get offended by the Most High, because he's going to come in here and use all these terrorists, okay, to come after the people who are doing evil, man. And if you are not serving Yahawashi, you are going to be considered evil in that day. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. See? Verse 4, for he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. The Lord ain't got Esau with these missiles and all this stuff in vain. And you got IUIC out here doing country music and playing around talking about some hang 'em high and shit. Like we got power to do that to Esau. We don't have power to do that. We don't have power to take over these people, man. The Lord set that up. We're not beating them or doing none of that. So all that stuff is just to make Jake think that we have some type of power here. We don't have any kind of power right now, man. We are in captivity. We're behind enemy lines. We got to get out of here through Yahawashi, man. Any other way, hey, you're going to get put to death, especially trying to act like you're a badass. Because some of us, Jakes, actually, we ain't just saying we, just, tough guys, but we not weak, man. Think about all the stuff Israel's went through and we still serving the Lord. You cannot be no weak ass motherfucker and do that, man. It's impossible. It's impossible. For he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that do evil. That's what we saying. We saying we spiritually strong. And some of us are physically strong too. But we don't take that physical strength and think that we can overcome the principalities of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? We don't use it for that. We do that because our temple, our body is a temple. We're supposed to take care of it, man. And being in shape and being healthy, that makes you feel even more. You know what I'm saying? That helps you feel even more amped to do the work. You know, because you have more energy to produce, man. So going back into it, 1 Corinthians, we're just gonna, try to keep it pretty plain. 1 Corinthians 15:40. Yep. And I really want to start at 39. Okay, because there's different types. There's different types of flesh, man. There's different types of flesh, and when you go into Corinthians, the 15th chapter, it goes into a lot in depth on certain ways the Lord set things up. But we're just going to stick with the point. 1 Corinthians 15:39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds. There's different classifications of flesh as well. That's it said, as it is on earth as in heaven. So there's different classifications of spirits as well. You got evil spirits and you got righteous spirits. That's how he set it up on the earth too. Verse 40, there are also celestial bodies. What's that? That's talking about the angels in the heavens. Okay, they don't think like we do. Okay, they have a whole different structure on what they glory in. Okay, because they're basically with the Most High, so they're all knowing in a sense. Okay, but in a sense, we know that they don't just know everything either. That's why when the angel, I think it was Uriel, who went down and was talking to Esdras, in second Esdras, he was telling them, I can't really tell you about what's going to happen to you. I wasn't told that. So they even have levels of what they're allowed to know. Okay, but what we mean by all knowing is what? The extent of the Lord's habitation, what you need to know. You're not going to get to know everything. You're never going to figure out we're never going to figure out the Most High all the way. What he's doing is telling us the end of the movie, man, and how we need to make sure that our ending is of salvation. Verse 40, but there are also celestial bodies and also bodies terrestrial, like terror. Okay, that's earthly. That's why you got these wicked ass tarot card readers. They all talk about what's going to happen to you on earth, right? That's what they do. Okay, terrestrial is down here, but they both, it's like inhaling and exhaling. There's not one without the other. Whatever's going on up here is going on in the heavens right now. I'm going to read this real quick and then get back to it. Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 29, the secret things belong unto the Lord, our power. See, there's things that we can't understand, like how a spirit goes into the body. We can't explain that. We can't explain that. Okay? But we know that it does. But those things which are revealed belong unto us and our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. See, so he gives us things to be revealed for what? So we can understand the extent of his habitation. And that shows that he loves us. Because if he didn't, he'd just have us all out here like everybody else and not knowing what's going to go on and all this folly before these missiles come over here, man. Because Russia just said yesterday, because Trump was like, he's getting all his ships and he's moving them over there closer to China. He's moving them over there, Moab land, so-called Chinese. He's got the submarines over there closer because Trump or because Putin already just said that they're not going to agree to any kind of cease, some nuclear de-escalation. Like they're not going to cease to try to disarm their nukes, man. They got them motherfuckers ready to launch, man, and they're not gonna take them down. And Trump gave them a deadline for them to put their shit up, and they're not. They're Edomites. It says that destruction and misery are in their ways. He's not going to put those missiles down. Okay. So they're also celestial bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one. What's that? They do the bidding of the Most High. And so do the terrestrial too, because we're terrestrial, but we have spirits in us. Okay, but the Lord, the Lord can send certain angels to minister to you and protect you, and that's what He's doing with His men. That's why we're doing the work every day. Okay, because He's got those angels like, no, make sure he's doing right. He's serving me, so the principalities won't destroy him. And that doesn't mean He doesn't make us go off sometimes. He does that with all of us. Okay, to make you fight the good fight of faith. And the glory of the terrestrial is another. See? So going into it more, we're going to show you some accounts of situations dealing with the Lord commanding the angels to do stuff. Job, the 2nd chapter. This is one we normally go into. And then I got another one I want to go into in the 1 Kings. And then we're going to do one more, and then we're going to move to something that Bill Gates is doing in Mexico, because we've seen a video I did recently. They got over there in China and Moab land. They stuff already digital. So we're going to show you what's happening in Mexico. So Job loses, because we got brothers out there in and we got GMS Mexico out there. So I brought this out, and brothers, hold and keep the faith, and the Lord protects them, man. We got brothers everywhere, man. Everywhere. And that's prophecy too. There ain't no other camp that's got brothers all over the earth, man. This is all we got, man. They keep trying to make it seem like GMS don't know what we talking about. Hey, whatever, man. Just stay away from us. So it says Job loses his health, right? Job 2 verse 1. This is what happened before he lost his health. It had to be established in the heavens first. Job 2 verse 1. Again, there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord. So this is how we know Satan is a son of the Most High, because he was there. He was there. What does that mean? That he is doing the bidding of the Lord. Because why would he have him? We're talking about the power of the universe. Why would he have Satan? When you think Satan just barged in and was like, hey, I'm here. Like, no, he was summoned to come to this meeting. Okay. So to present themselves before the Lord, right? Present themselves. What do you want me to do? Right? And Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. He came too, because he's terrified of the Lord too. He's terrified of the Heavenly Father too. That was like, shit, we got to be here for this meeting, motherfucker. I'm on time. And they said it specifically because why? Because he had it. It shows you that the Lord is telling them to do the Heavenly Father is telling them to do this work. Okay. Okay, to be a nuisance to Israel, man. Basically, to be a test for Israel. Verse 2, and the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord. And the reason why he says it like this, to give us an understanding. The Lord already had this all set up. He did it for us. From whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. Didn't I cut across and say, oh, it's not just some supernatural, just spiritual being. They're actually walking on the ground like this table. There it is. How is he doing that? Through Esau, even so-called white man? Because he runs everything. That's how he's walking to, fro, and up and down in the earth. He says, how are you here? This is why Job represents the elect. The Lord's walking around, got all these Edomites around us. And he said, what? Test my people and see if they'll get them to go off, because that's what they're doing. They're saying, oh, he ain't gonna stick with you if you take everything from him. That's why when you usually come in the truth, the Lord takes all your shit, all your money, girl, car, you lose all that shit. That's the test of Job. to see if you actually can get built up the right way. And that doesn't mean you're not still going to go through problems, but it's a process, man. It's decently done in order, man. This is the extent of the Lord's habitation, man. This is why we're not playing around, man, because we understand it. So going to fro in the earth, walking up and down in it. And, it goes into, saying that, hast thou considered thy servant Job? There is none like him in the earth. That's just like the hopeful elect. There's none like us in the earth. There is nobody serving Yahawashi like we are, especially in GMS. There is nobody doing videos every day talking about Yahawashi at all. There's no other camps doing it. And if you find them, don't worry, we'll wait, because they ain't teaching everything that we teaching. So even if they were teaching it every day, it still don't matter. It still don't matter. So they out here doing country music. There is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil. Right? We don't want to get down with this place, man. And he still hold it fast as integrity, though thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. See? So the Lord sent him to test Job. The Lord told Simon Peter he was going to sift. He was going to sift the nation of Israel. How do you think he's sifting? With Satan. He's using Satan. That's part of the way he does things. Okay? We ain't gonna go no more into it. First Kings. Here's another example with Ahab, the king. Okay? There's another example of the Lord talking to his wicked angels coming to him and saying, let me do it, Lord. Let me go down there and go in that person and do this. Right? We'll go to the top and show you what the topic is about. It's Ahab's third campaign against Aram. Okay? That's what we're going into. I ain't going to explain too much of the history because I don't want to, I'm trying not to be too long, man. So, 1 Kings chapter 22, verse 20, and the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab? Who's he talking to? The angels. Which one of y'all going to do it? That he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead. And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. Right? They was the angels like, I can get him to go off like this. He's talking to the wicked angels right here. I can get him to go off right here. I can get, right? And there came forth the spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? He already knew, but like we said, the Lord does this kind of in third person for us to get it, man. Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. That's the conversation that the Lord has with the angels before Tucker Carlson and all these people start saying stuff that they say, man. Same way with us. I want him to actually go in and teach the doctrine right. And then be a righteous angel he talking to. Okay, Lord. And he go down there and be with you. Like people don't get behind us and everything all around us. His angels are camped around us, man. Because the Lord sent them to protect us, man. And the main thing they're protecting is our mind. Because if you put forth your hand to evil, the principalities around you is going to destroy your ass. That's what you got to understand. Those are the extents of knowledge you have to understand. That's why Elder Ariala in Texas was going into that, a couple weeks ago about how it starts in your mind. Even the scriptures say that. It starts with your mind, man. So that's another example. We're just going to go to Psalms 103, 20. And it reads, bless the Lord, ye his angels that excel in strength, that do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of the Lord. He told that angel to go lie. He told that angel to go and be a lying spirit in Ahab, man. That's him doing the commandments of the Lord. That's what he told him to do. That's not what the churches is going to ever teach you, man. These Babylonian churches is never going to teach you. The Lord sends wicked angels to do his bidding too. It's not just the other way around. They just be like Satan and the Most High are fighting, and God's gonna know, motherfucker. He works for him. God, shit, Jake. Stop listening to Esau, man. They're liars. So, next article. Mexico mandates Bill Gates. Okay. They went, they seeking after Esau. Mexico itself was like, we need Esau. Mandates Bill Gates biometric digital ID with iris and fingerprint data for entire population. Mm-hmm. This is what's happening. Mexico has officially made a biometric digital ID mandatory for all citizens, bringing into a life system long pushed by Bill Gates in the World Economic Forum. That was once a fringe proposal by global elites. Is now federal law. Every Mexican, right? Issachar, one of the tribes. This is when the mass awakening is going to start happening, because when everything goes digital, that's probably when the mass awakening is going to really hit. Because we've been telling everybody, man. We've been telling everybody. Starting with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, man. So every Mexican is now required, right, Issachar, right, to submit their face, fingerprints, and iris data into a centralized digital identity platform, whether they consent or not. To do what? To be able to take the MOTB and put it in them, and they already have all their information. Okay? So that's going on now in Mexico. So it's in China. They got it where they over there saying everything's digital. They're going to get to the point where most of them already got it to where they're forced to do that. We're going to go into it. And you would be surprised how much we go into this. You would think everybody knows what this is by now. It's still people who, on regular basis, when I'm walking around or whatever, ride my bike from work or whatever, and you end up because we be out on the street every week. It be sometimes I'll be riding my bike through town. Someone be like, hey you, and they'll be like, well, I see you on the street last weekend. What y'all talking about over there? It happens all the time. You know, and that's another reason why I kind of wear the necklaces too, because it's like a lure, it like lures, like, you know, we're fishers of men. It lures Jake into being like, what the fuck are y'all doing out there? Okay, because they know Jake got 25 damn rocks on his neck for no reason. They know we doing something out here. So when we explain it to them, they be like, damn. You know, start going into history and stuff. They be like, oh shit. You know, and just because I like wearing rocks and stuff and necklaces and stuff, you know, that's one of our customs. We like jewelry and shit. Revelation 13:16, always go into it. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, everybody. That's what they saying. Everybody got to get it. It don't matter if you got money, whatever. To receive a mark in their right hand and their foreheads. That word mark, it means karagma in the Greek. It's talking about an incision. Okay? Incision, that's that RFID chip they're going to put in your hand to be able to buy or sell, or in their foreheads. That's the metaton, which is in the Greek, which is talking about between the eyelids. That's the neural link that Elon Musk is doing. Okay, all the Edomites are getting together to form this system, and they're acting like they're like separate from the plan. The plan is to get everybody chipped. Okay, 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. The beast is talking about NATO and EU. You know, that's controlled by America, Babylon the Great, and the small hats over there who claiming they Israel in the land of Israel right now. That's the plan. And everybody's under it. Everybody's under that consent. Okay, to try to get this beast system put out. This system. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him have understanding. Count the number of the beast. That's basically the barcode platform. You know, you get on the barcode. You know, I could pull it up, but you got to get the barcode, and it's like three little indentions on each side. That's the 666. This is the barcode number. For it is the number of a man. Who's that man? Esau, even so-called white man, because he's implementing it. And his number is 603 score and 6, you know. And going into, like, you know, the name of the beast and whatnot, that's really going into, like, you know, the system. Okay. The system, the name of NATO and the EU, like, you're basically coming as their property if you take this shit. Okay. You know, this is stuff that is real plain to the hopeful elect, man. We go over it so much. Hey, man, if you take that thing, there's not going to be no mercy for you. So, just like we were saying, what's going on is what the prophets, the elders and apostles have been saying for years. How it's going to happen. Zelensky says mercenaries from China, Pakistan, and other countries fighting for Russia. Why didn't they say fighting for China? Why didn't they say fighting for, Egypt? Why did they say? Because they fighting for Russia. That's what the prophecy said they were going to say. And you remember, what do we just find out? That the Lord sends angels to make people say certain stuff, just like Tucker Carlson said the same thing. He said the same thing. He said, "Yeah, it's supernatural beings going into people and making them do shit like kill themselves." That's what the Lord be doing. The angel be like, "See, I make them do this. All right, go down there and do it. It's gonna work. Go do it." So that's how he's got all the kings, to make sure that the prophecy passed. So right here it says prophecy about Gog and the future invasion of Israel. Gog is talking about Russia. Okay, and this is what they're going to do. They're going to come against Israel, and then they're going to come against Babylon the Great. Okay, here it is. Here it's being set up, because what Israel is doing in Gaza right now, and the land of the small hats over there doing in Gaza, and what America Babylon the Great is doing to Russia, okay, and Ukraine is that's what's getting this thing pop off, man. Because Ukraine used to be basically controlled by Russia, okay, until the fall of 1991 of the Soviet Union. So they want that land back, man. They want their land back, and then China wants Taiwan, okay, but America's like, we don't want them to take Taiwan, because Taiwan makes like the best. They make the best computer chips, okay. They make the best computer chips in the world, man, the most advanced. Okay, so it's everybody on a race to have the best, system to rule the earth. Okay, that's what's happening. Ezekiel says 38 verse 1, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog. Right? So that's talking to the prophets. We're setting our faces against them by prophesying what they're about to do and what's going to happen to them. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, right? Basically saying, we're going to tell you what the Lord's going to make you do. Verse 3, and say, thus saith the Lord Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Right? So this is what he's going to do. This is what the Lord's going to do to basically bring them to their utter destruction. He's going to use, because it says Satan, it said a divided house cannot stand. So there's the Russian Edomites and the American Edomites. He's got them where they're finna destroy each other. But Russia's going to be the main one who wins. Because there might be some missiles that hit Russia, but it's not going to be completely destroyed like America is. This place is going to be on fire, man. This is the lake of fire. That's what people don't get. When they talk about that, the Lord's Prayer in the valley of the shadow of death, this is the valley of shadow of death. What's the shadow? 200 million intercontinental ballistic missiles blowing this motherfucker up. That's the shadow of death. There ain't no way you getting out of that. No way. Oh, that's a good one. Let's do that one real quick. Psalms chapter 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Right? Who's going to do that? It starts with the men of the Lord and Yahawashi, prophesying what he's going to make them do to themselves. And then they going to do it. This ain't even our war. We just telling you how it's going to end. Our war is after this. Cato's 144,000 men, elect men, coming down here and destroying these the rest of whatever's left here. Okay, and pulling out them top
banking families, the Rothschilds and all them, and they're going to be the first ones going into slavery. And like it says in Ezekiel 39, the first thing they're going to be doing is picking up all the bodies everywhere and burying them. Okay? It said most of the Gog, the Russians, the so-called Russians, they're going to be buried in the land called the land of Ham and Gog. And we're going to have continuing employment. It's going to be like how y'all are with us. You're just going to have so many of y'all to hire to put your ass in slavery and rebuild everything that just got destroyed. And it's going to be rebuilt right. And then Esau's not going to even be able to live in it. He's going to get destroyed forever because he's not going to be needed anymore. He's sent here for Israel's correction. But doesn't mean the Lord's going to get rid of Satan. His son, that's his son. He's going to use him to, plague the heathens. Okay, the ones that are not Israelites. Because if he doesn't, then they're going to be immortal because they'll know all the law. So he's going to have to he's going to have continual work forever. He's going to get to work and fuck people up forever. They're not going to teach you like this. They going to teach you that shit in the scriptures. They're not going to teach you that. They're going to teach you that in the church, man. They're not going to teach you that. We learned that from the elders and apostles, man. Verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army. What that means, put hooks into thy jaws, he's basically turning them back to that old Soviet Union. And he's been doing that since around 2001, because in 1991 they fell. Putin started getting his power. He started trying to build himself up. And then by 2001, you have something called the Shanghai Coalition. Okay? The Shanghai Coalition goes into basically an economic structure to protect China and Russia and a whole bunch of other people in the East economy, because they seen what America was doing in 9/11, okay, to go to Afghanistan. So it was like, damn, they destabilizing countries and shit with fake wars and shit. We got to make a coalition. We got to get ready. So now they done done that to the point where they got what? The BRICS. This is him turning them hooks back, turning them back into that Soviet Union again, being prepared to fight. And I'll bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, right? And when you go into Revelation 9:16, it talks about John the Revelator seeing these horses, and the number was 2,000 thousands. It was like, yeah, it was 2,000. It was like 2,000. 200,000 thousands. Yeah. Let me just put it up just so I won't butcher it. It'll take 2 seconds. Revelation 9:16. That's how you know these horses. What it's talking about is intercontinental ballistic missiles. Those are the horses. That's the power. That's why like when a car talk about horsepower, okay, because they're talking about, it's equivalent to 60 to 125 horses running at your ass. Okay, that's basically. They're comparing it to how strong animals are. That's why we can tell you, or horses, when we say like horns, those are talking about power. Okay, just like my elder Zaquan was talking about the other day, like a horn on a rhino, that's his power. Revelation 9:16, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. Okay, see, horsemen. That's where it is over here. He's talking about, they're saying army, horses and horsemen. That's these missiles. That's why they're telling they ain't going to put them down, man. All clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of bucklers and shields, all them handling swords. And that's what the sword is today, intercontinental ballistic missile, man. That is the new sword of the day, So all of them handling missiles too. Persia, who's that? Iran. We know that, in old Babylon, the Medo-Persian Empire took down the old Babylon. So this is like kind of like the same story happening over again, but it's involving Esau now. Okay, more of Esau, because Esau didn't really come around until the Greeks in that time. Okay, so Persia, Ethiopia, and he was there. But what we're saying when it comes to like rulership, a lot of stuff was being ruled by the Hamites, so-called Ethiopians, so-called Africans. They were ruling Egypt and stuff until Esau came and took them down. But first it was, the Medo-Persian Empire. Okay. Iran, these kind of guys. Okay, Iranians. And they made a coalition back then too. They paired together too back then. And the Lord's got them doing it again. Persia, Ethiopia, that's basically them Hamites, so-called Africans, and Libya with them. And we know Libya is in like a lot of turmoil because of the floods that the Lord's sending over there. So they're definitely going to need to side with either America or Israel. And they're going to side, or not America or Israel, but America or Russia. And they're going to side with Russia. Okay? Because America's already destabilized their country with whatever the fuck the Lord told them to do to that place. Weather machines, whatever they did to destabilize that country, they know now. And all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, which is talking about Turkey. Turkey, they're basically dealing with the Shanghai coalition in a sense. I don't know if they're with the BRICS just yet, but they might be. But I know that they dismembered themselves from America recently. Just double check to credit. Yeah, Turkey was offered a country status by the BRICS, but hold on. See, it says why Turkey seeks to become the first NATO member in BRICS. This is October 23rd, 2024. Okay, so they're thinking about it, which means basically they're like monitoring it. Okay, they're monitoring it. And that's a good one too. We'll do that one. We'll do that one because Kwame was going in that the other day. Job chapter 14, verse 5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. There's only a certain amount of time Esau, even so-called white man, is going to be able to take peace from the earth, man. And this is the last time, you know? So Gomer, talking about Turkey, all his bands, the house of Togarmah in the North Quarters and all his bands and many people with thee. So that's why you got Zelensky saying all these different mercenaries, these paid mercenaries, are all fighting for Russia from China and all other different places. Verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. Thou and all thy company are assembled unto thee, and thou be a guard unto them. See? So they're all coming under Russia. That's why Zelensky's saying that. Okay? And we go over this, you know, a lot, but it's been a while since I went over on my channel, so I was like, man, let me go over that again. You know? So this is what's going on over there in Gaza right now. They said about 82% of all the trucks that was supposed to give them food because the small hats are starving them out, man. They're starving them out. So a lot of them are getting stolen and stuff. Okay, and that could even be them doing it. But it says Israel faces blame for hunger crisis in Gaza. UN's own data shows most of its aid is looted. So it said 1,753 out of 2,013 trucks were stolen by armed actors or civilians since May 19th. See, it said armed actors. That means that maybe even, you know, the small hats sent in some people to steal those trucks so they wouldn't get the food. This is how wicked Esau is, man. This is how wicked Esau is. It could be to that point to where they sent people to be like, oh, we're gonna send that truck, and then they really don't want to give up them resources because they're trying to kill everybody in there. So this is man, I'm telling you, man, these devils, like, you can't let them pass them, man, because you got to remember they're getting orders from the Lord. So don't just think that they ain't gonna do nothing fucked up, because the Lord is definitely in a vengeful mindset. It said the day of vengeance is in his heart. Okay, so he's using these calamities and things on Esau to make him do against his own people, man, because of what they had us doing over here, especially like the Biggie Pac war. That's just like simple shit. Okay. That's like stuff that's like just the most noticeable. They had us killing each other like that. The Lord's got them doing it now. 2nd Ezra 15:16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings and princes, nor the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So that's why you see a lot of this thievery and people getting put, getting put in position where now everybody gonna suffer. Okay, they're gonna suffer because they ain't getting no food. And that's the Lord also putting a punishment on the wickedness that's going on in Gaza, man. So we ain't sitting here trying to act like we taking sides with Israel or Gaza. Both of these motherfucking places are wicked as shit. That's why they're both gonna be in utter destruction, man. That's why the Lord does this kind of stuff, to show you. Like, and on top of that, the Lord don't give a fuck about these heathens, man. He does not give a shit. And most of the time, he got them suffering like this because he wants us to see, wants us to have the fear of the Lord, seeing what's happening to them. Lamentation 4:9, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. They over there, they ain't got no food. I seen some pictures of them. I ain't gonna put them online, but there's pictures of some of them children, and they look like skeletons, man. Arms like size of like a quarter and shit, like a dollar, like one of them 50-cent coins. Like, that's how big their arms be and shit, man. This is why it says better your ass just die by the sword, man, than slain with hunger, for these pine away, stricken through for the want of the fruits of the field. That's just not no fucking joke, man. There's, Lord wrote scriptures about that to show you that, man, shoot, you dying of hunger, man, that shit is not no damn game. And there's some people out there, man, they through. I seen one little video, they had brought some trucks in. There was like, all you could see was like thousands of people, and then you could see like 2 boxes in there. Bro, it was fighting over that shit. I'm telling you, man, the Lord's trying to show us not to be hasty in a time of trouble like that. You know? Now I got one more scripture, one more topic. We're gonna go on a few precepts and we're gonna get out of here. It says, flesh-eating bacteria alert on the Gulf Coast. This is why it's best not, if you Israelites, man, don't be going to no beaches, man. The Lord's putting plagues on Israel. That's why the apostles been telling us really not to really do anything. You know what I'm saying? To kind of just stay reserved, because he's putting the curses on this place. So, this is things that he promised us that he would do to America, Babylon the Great. And we're gonna show you that's how we know it's talking about here and not old Egypt. Because we know in Revelation 11:8, we always mention that this place is spiritually in Sodom and Egypt. This is one way to be able to detect that interpretation. It's not private. Oh, it's 2nd Ezra 15:10. So it's just going back just a little bit. Just going back just a little bit. Let me go to it. And then I got one more precept to show you that even though there's not every disease that we've seen, like COVID, stuff like that, just because it's not in the Bible doesn't mean that it's not in there. It's in there. We're going to show you it's in there. And they're all coming on America, Babylon the Great. So 2nd Ezra 15:10, and you got to remember during this time, we were already out of Egypt when Ezra was writing this. Okay, we are already out of Egypt. So it says 2nd Ezra 15:10, behold, my people are led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. That's really talking about a future prophecy coming into America, Babylon the Great, because you got to remember in 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter, when we read about that, he asked Uriel the angel to explain him the similitudes, to explain to him what is going to happen in that day, in the latter days. Okay, he asked him. So now about 15th chapter, he didn't got learn a whole bunch of stuff by this time, because he fasted 7 days, and then he was real wearied, and then the Lord took his spirit and showed him visions. Then he did it a second time, and he showed him more visions. Then he did it a third time, and then he showed him more visions. That's the story of Ezra. Okay, and Ezra is in the Bible. Ezra, That's the same person. Ezra's is just his Greek name. That's it. This is a Greek name. So I'll not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. That's talking about America, Babylon the Great. See? So that's what we're seeing. All these flesh bag eating bacterias and all these different types of diseases that are not necessarily mentioned in the scriptures, but these are what's coming on America, Babylon the Great. This is Deuteronomy. This is what happened to us. That's how we know it's going to happen to them. Deuteronomy 28, verse 60. Then we're going to close out. Deuteronomy 28, verse 60. Oh, yep. Yep, we'll read that one too. Yep. Yep, that's exactly the one that I was going to pull up. So we can just read it from Mark. That's exactly the one I had down. See, that's that spirit, man. The spirit of the Most High. Shoot. The Lord got us us in the brotherhood, man. He got us on the same page, man. Two can't walk together unless they be agreed. Deuteronomy 28:60. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. See, there's all these coming back. But it's happening to the heathens because why? We're doing our best not to put our hands toward iniquity. We're doing our best to stay out of the ideology of these Egyptians, man, which is today the Esau, even the so-called white men, they're the modern day Egyptians. Okay, because first they were what? The Hamites, the so-called Africans, so-called Ethiopians. Okay, which was the son of Cush. When you read about them, the son of Cush were the Ethiopians. Those were the ones who were ruling in Egypt. That's why Moses could pass as an Egyptian, because they were all dark skinned. It wasn't no East Edomites ruling in that time. Okay. So continuing, they shall cleave unto thee, verse 61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, then will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. That's what's been happening to these heathens, man. It happened to us, And what did it say? At the end of this book, after we get done reading the end of this book, and we've cast this condemnation, spiritually into this place, it's going to be over with, man. It's going to be over with for everybody who's taking this as a joke. So, so we're just going to, continue to stay in the spirit of Bahasham Yahawashi. We pray in spirit and power. This is edifying. Try to, keep it in, at least, speaking for myself, I try to keep it to where, I'm looking up topics to be able to express the scriptures through recent events. And, we got to watch, just like Ak just said. 2 Ezra chapter 2, verse 13, go and ye shall receive. Pray for few days unto you, right? We trying to get to the point where we're out of here. We still work and stuff and do whatever and all that. But at the end of the day, it's like, we're hoping to get out of here soon, but we know that we still got time or whatever, you still got to be out here because the mass awakening hasn't really happened all the way to the extent. But you'll see that a lot of people, there's a lot more people in this truth than what people perceive, because not everybody that's in the truth is seen on camera, man. It is a lot of people that are awake. They just, you have more followers than teachers. So that they may be shortened. And the Lord said he would shorten the time for the elect's sake. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. So what are we watching? We're watching to see how close we are to getting out of here. And we're seeing that they're having conversations about nuclear war. We're seeing they're having conversations where you got people who used to claim that there's no such thing as supernatural beings, which are the angels, doing the bidding of the Lord. You have people like Tucker Carlson who are newscasts, and they're all just about you only live once. But now it's different. Now they having sit downs and talks. These are very rich, prominent people, man, and they're having these conversations about people richer than them. So we're seeing that it's coming to that time where that spirit is pouring out and people are starting to bring out the truth, man. You know, even the wicked, they're saying, yeah, we getting controlled by the Most High. And they know it. So, hey, man, Lord willing is edifying. Shalom to Israel, hopefully to Israel, Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, foreign Israelites, like the nations scattered across the four corners of the earth. Want to give all praise to Barak, the Halal, Barak, the Yahawashi. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Let us all to this truth. It's GMS Bahasham Allah, porting out of the Oklahoma camp, GMS Oklahoma camp. And hey, Lord willing, we'll be able to do another lesson, another day, man. Meditate on the power of Yahawah, the water for your precepts, Kazak, the water, man. You know, they always help my lessons a lot. So the water for, you know, tuning in. So, hey, man, wa abba babal, Kwame Asherala, Shalom.